Hi, Gemini. Welcome back. Let's get into this. See what's going on in your energy for Gemini. All right, Gemini. Spirit, give us a clear, concise message here for Gemini. Gemini, you're not pushing something forward or something is not coming out. Okay, we have the Knight of Cups coming out. That's interesting. Maybe you're not talking to somebody. Let's see. Spirit, give us a clear, concise message here for Gemini. We have the sun coming out, which is surprising. Okay. I will find out more about that. We have the sun coming out with the page of coins in reverse. What the heck? Okay, and then we also had this card. Okay. So we have the Eight of Sticks with the Knight of Cups. Gemini, it looks like somebody is trying to... Well, somebody might be tempted to, like, rush into making an offer. Like, rushing in to do something. This could also be, like, also facing delays in a creative project. Maybe you've been working on a creative project lately and, like, losing steam. Okay? There might be somebody here that you're not speaking to. Maybe you have overcame something. Maybe there was a period here. It looks like there was a period where you were really stressed out. Maybe somebody needed to, like, relieve themselves from that energy, like get out of that stressful energy of not being able to sleep, not being able to see the good side of things, not being able to, feel excited about things anymore. So it looks like maybe possibly, I would say depression, just not having that excitement anymore about something or losing that excitement because of delays. That's what I'm getting. Somebody might have had some kind of disappointing news in the past. Okay, I feel like that might be a past situation, and because of that, it caused stress, right? But it looks like there's this there is this energy of negativity with positivity in this reading that I can't deny. I mean, it just goes from one thing to another. It's like something's going on here where there's a lack of communication, or there's a it could be a lack of communication, or you just cut somebody out completely, and you're just facing a lot of different challenges, uphills and downhills. Or somebody here could also be bipolar, or maybe you're dealing with somebody who's bipolar, because there seems to be such big highs and lows, not really taking a lot of action, but facing a lot of delays, and just not feeling the excitement of things. And then all of a sudden, boom, with the sun energy, feeling like everything's roses and peaches and cream. And so for somebody here, you might be dealing with somebody who is bipolar, and maybe they are going through these ups and downs. Yeah, it could be like they're facing a lot of challenges here, especially with the page of coins coming out in reverse. It makes me feel like this could also be something that is disrupting this person's, like, their finances, or disrupting them from being able to learn new things. It could be facing a lot of challenges when it comes to these things. Also, it could be somebody who's, maybe you're dealing with somebody who's very like irresponsible. Somebody who's constantly procrastinating, constantly, possibly like second guessing themselves, not really moving forward. Hmm. Yeah, definitely a loss of passion here, or the loss of, like, being committed to something. Okay, this could be a relationship, or this could be a creative project. So if this is somebody that you're working with, this is somebody, they don't necessarily have to be bipolar. I'm just saying that the ups and downs seem to be that way. But this could be like it could also be like, facing a lot of delays, and losing sight of what y'all are working on together, right? So if this is like a co-worker and the two of you are supposed to be working on this project together, I don't know what to tell you, but I'm gonna tell you something. This person is losing that commitment to this project. They're facing a lot of delays. Somebody here has received some kind of bad news, and they're having to overcome this shock of bad news, but they still want to be in that sun energy of happiness. So that's why I'm like, it's really big highs and really deep lows. So that's why I'm mentioning bipolar, because as you know, bipolar people tend to have like really high highs and low lows. So when they get depressed, they lose interest in things. It's just like anybody going through depression. They lose interest in things. They give up on things. Um, Also, this could indicate like somebody has a very unrealistic expectation of you, especially with this coming out. Yeah. So it makes me feel like somebody might just be expecting way too much from you at this time. Like expecting you to fix everything, to put everything back together for them. Just really putting a lot of stress on you at this time, which is very unfair. It just really is unfair, especially whoever this person is to you. This person is definitely somebody, I want to say, who is very close to you in some way, shape, or form. Okay, especially with the Knight of Cups coming out, this is definitely somebody that you have feelings for. Somebody who's close to you. Somebody that you have, vice versa. There's feelings both ways for the both of you. You know, um, I do feel like somebody here is becoming more and more impatient. They have this unrealistic view. I think they expect everything to be, the sun and sunshine and everything is supposed to be perfect. That could very well be why I'm seeing these really deep lows and high highs. And that could also explain why there's problems when it comes to communication over here, because of somebody having unrealistic expectations. Maybe they saw things on TV and they're expecting it to be that way, right? Or they read a lot of books, a lot of romantic books, stuff like that. Um, or they just have very unrealistic expectations of you as a person, which is really sad because, you know, it looks like this person could be hurtful, you know. At least that's how they're coming out. They could be hurtful. Like they could say things that could be very hurtful to you, and like hide it in this disguise of telling the truth, of just saying it like it is, or that kind of energy. I do feel very strongly that you are the high priestess in this reading, so I do feel like you are very intuitive and you pick up on emotions. You might be an empath, where you're picking up on things. So if this person's being very rude to you, I could see how that is going to affect you, especially, emotionally. You could, when somebody's going through these highs and lows and they have unexpected expectations of you, I mean, that could be pretty hard to deal with, right? I mean, I could sympathize with you on that one. With the Fool card coming out, though, I do feel like, there is pure intentions here, with that energy of wanting to be like childlike and stuff. So let's see where this is going. So you're dealing with somebody. I mean, this could be anybody in your family or in a relationship. I think it's just a lot of unfairness. Oh, we got the Two of Coins coming out in reverse. So I do feel like it's just a lot of unfairness on your part, when it comes to this person or dealing with this person. For somebody here, it looks like it has really taken its toll on you with dealing with this person. I mean, because come on, you got the Two of Coins coming out in reverse. So, it doesn't matter how pure this person's intentions are or how pure your intentions are. And I do feel like it's your intentions, but you know, it's looks like you're just drowning in everything that's going on between the two of you. I think this person is just pulling you under, and I think there's been a lot of disappointments when it comes to dealing with this person who's in your life, this person who's a very significant person in your life. See? See? A very significant, yes. This is pain. This is trauma. This is, oh gosh, look at that. Three of Blades with the Three of Cups and the Tower. Wow, Gemini, you have been on a roller coaster with this person. Like it has just been like one big huge shift from another. I mean, wow. One shock to the system after another. So, it's like this person is hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold. And then their expectations of you are so extreme. It's kind of like, I don't know if I should say it, but it's a form of abuse. It's like they're expecting you to be inhuman, not to be human. It really is. It's a weird, abusive situation. And it's like you have the purest intentions, and it's like every time you try to do something, try to get things to be better, it's like you get slapped in the face. That's what it looks like. You just get slapped in the face. What? Tell me more. Page of Wands is coming out, though. Tell me more. Why is the Page of Wands there? Can't be all bad. We have the Page of Wands coming out. Oh, we got a lot going on here. Okay. Okay. Let me see what we got going on here. So I am hearing that you have been trying your best. Okay. So it looks like you have really been trying your best with this person. And it's like every time you keep trying, somehow there's always this huge shift. You know what I mean? There's like this huge shift. And you keep looking for, like, trying to get the positive. You're trying to look at the positive, Gemini. That's what it is. You're always trying to focus on the positive, because always trying to, like, look at the positive and, trying to always be excited and always trying to have a new beginning, and always, you're always on in that energy, only to be met with this energy over here, with the Seven of Swords energy and the Four of Cups energy. It's like this person is always turning their back. Always being sneaky and always turning their back. And you're like expecting this person to meet you at, on the same page with you, right? Like you're expecting this person to match your energy, but only to be met with this person like turning their back on you. And it's like you're trying to talk to this person, you're trying to relate things to this person, but then they go into that Seven of Swords energy, and it's like, for some of you, I'm just going to say it, you have been catching this person in lies. It looks like you've been catching them in lies. You're picking up on it. Maybe not right out lies, but like you could feel it, because you are the High Priestess. So you could feel when this person is lying to you and being deceptive. You're catching on. For one of you, for whatever reason, I think this person has like victimized you in one way, shape, or another. It's been this huge roller coaster. And even though you keep trying to push forward with this person, or you did, this could be a past situation, guys. Okay? It doesn't have to be a present situation. This could be something that you already went through. Like you just kept giving this person the benefit of the doubt. You just kept trying to work things out with this person. You were just like, cuz the good times were so good. That's what I'm hearing. The good times were so good, but then the bad times were so bad. And it's just like this up and down energy. This person was so hot and so cold and just constantly breaking things down. I feel like you were always working so hard to build things up, and it looks like this person was always tearing things down for no reason. And it was like every time you thought that y'all were improving, only to find out they would do something shocking. They would do something like unbelievable. And there's always this, like, it was this person told you, or you told, it was always like this argument for one of you. There was always an argument, right? And there was always this like misunderstanding going on. There's always something. It was always something. It was like, no matter how hard you tried, you couldn't get this person to see your point. Because they didn't want to see your point, because they were happier with having this unexpected, unrealistic expectations. Unfair was the biggest word in this whole like connection with whoever this person is to you. Unfair. Just flat out unfair. And it was never going to balance out. You weren't going to be able to balance things out with this person. Wow. For some of you, you don't want to reveal something here. There's something here that happened that you really don't want to reveal. There's something here that you're turning your back on. Or you're trying to like ignore it. And you might have had people come in and tell you things like, like Gemini, and then they would say what they were going to say, right? And you don't want to like reveal everything that you've been through, because you want people to see you as this strong, independent leader that you really are. And then to have to admit to somebody that this was going on like behind the scenes, right? It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. Especially if you work in a position where you are the boss or the leader, or you're a parent and your children were telling you things. So for some of you, you could be a parent and your own children were coming and, saying, hey, mom, something ain't right here, or, something's not adding up, or, dad, this is not right, something like that. And you're trying to save, it looks like you're trying to save face. You know what I mean? Like trying to save face in front of them. Because you're supposed to be the leader, You're supposed to be like ahead of them, And for some of you, you felt like this person was your twin flame. Or you felt like you and this person were the same. Y'all should have worked out. But that's not what happened here. Now with this tower, something fell apart with that tower energy. Something did not fall into place the way it was supposed to fall into place. For a handful of you, it does look like you were at a party or something, and something shocking happened at a party. That might be confirmation for somebody here. Or this could have been like some kind of gathering, and then something at this gathering was just so heartbreaking and shocking, in front of everybody, or At least maybe that's how you feel, like it was in front of everybody. Wow. So you might have found out something. I'm not going to dig deeper into that cuz that's your personal, you know what you found out. You know what I mean? So, for some of you, you might have found out that, I'm just going to say it, that this person was dangerous or very destructive. Something like that. And that's why you are turning your back from help. You don't want to admit that you were dealing with somebody like this, and it's very difficult. It's embarrassing, especially because you are a natural leader, and not just that, but you're the high priestess. So, it's kind of like, how did they do this to you? And I could tell you how they did it. They did it with that hot and cold stuff. And for some of you, just right out love bombed on you. you know? And then the good times were so good, The good times were really good, Gemini. I could see it in the cards, the ups and downs, the ups and downs. So maybe this person wasn't bipolar, but their actions were like that, hot and cold, up and down, up and down. It was like you were in a roller coaster ride, and once you get on a roller coaster ride, it is hell trying to get off of it. You know what I mean? It can be really hard. Especially trying to shake a person like this could be really hard. Depending on how hard this person was, you know, holding on to you. Let's see what your advice is from Spirit, because it looks like you've been through a very hard road. Okay, very very hard road. Just so you know, we see we see Libra, we see Leo, we see Gemini, of course. We see Cancer. Aquarius is out. Aries is out. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn is out. Let's see what your advice is, because it looks like you've been through the ringer with this person. The disappointments, the highs, the lows. It just, so much to go through, Gemini. Really is. Spirit, tell us, what is Gemini's advice here for this kind of situation? Because this is a really deep situation to be in. We have the Moon card coming out in reverse. Okay. I'll take it. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we have the Moon card in reverse, so something definitely is about to be revealed. We have the Page of Blades. Okay, let's see what else came out. Three of Coins. Get involved with your community here. Let's see. This is your advice. This is what came out. Let's see. Yeah, it's definitely get into your community. And we have this extra. So definitely get into your community. Write down. Okay, so it's saying to write something down. Be very open. Okay, I'm gonna put this to the side. So it's saying to be very open. Tell the truth. Write it all down. Own it. Basically, it's saying like own it. And also get community support. You might want to get people to work with you on this project. Maybe people in your family. Celebrate your own wins. That's what I'm hearing. Celebrate your own wins. Gemini, if you have been having like anxieties, I want you to know that you have these anxieties because of that relationship. Because that relationship was so, I'm just going to say it was toxic. Because you were stuck in that relationship. You went through such an emotional swing. So I mean, I know it doesn't help, because you have is saying that you have anxieties. You have maybe fears about things because of that person, you know? So Spirit is saying to write down. Okay, so basically it's saying to like write down the thoughts that have been restricting you, right? Take your power back here with the knight with the nine of coins. It's like take your power back. See your self-worth again. That's what I'm getting from that. Like see your self-worth again. It by writing this down, it was going to help you stabilize. Write down what your dreams are. That's what it's saying. Write down what your dreams are. Um what are you good at? Mark down what are you good at? What are your strong points? Okay? That's what I'm hearing. And remind yourself that you are an independent person because you are an independent person. I think you're an independent person, and that is just the way that you naturally are. You're just a very naturally independent type of person where you can contribute a lot to any group that you come to. Also, for a handful of you, it's saying like you need to write down your financial lessons that you learned in that relationship because there appears to be some kind of financial lessons. I don't remember it coming out earlier, but it's saying that there was some kind of financial lessons. Okay, so you're gonna want to write that down. For some of you right now, it's saying that right now is not the time for love. Okay, this is not a good time for love, but this is a good time for you to like point out the things that you're thankful for in your life. Specifically your family, your friends, your community, your home, things like that, you know. To point those out, and not only that, but to point out your successes and your losses, because it's coming out right here, like your losses and your successes, your achievement. So you want to acknowledge those things, okay? Because that is what makes you you. That is what makes you special, makes you different as an individual, right? You have your own ups and downs, and to also to come down and just love on yourself. You have the maturity here. I do feel that there's something that's incomplete here for you. Okay, and we do have the teacher and the eight of coins. So there is something here that you need to work on. I feel very strongly it's about loving yourself, forgiving yourself, getting very close, getting closer to God, getting closer to spirit, however you want to say it. Okay. Hmm. Let's see why this is there. Tell me more about the Knight of Sticks, Spirit, please, and thank you. I'm hearing you have to mentally reverse things that are going on. So if you are suffering from depression or you're suffering from anxiety or you're having fears of things right now, you need to learn to reverse it. Okay. How to reverse something like that, right? I'm trying to think how to do that. Like when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, right? Have you ever heard that saying, right? There's ways that you can turn something that is negative into your life and turn it into a positive thing that could actually be lucrative. So Spirit is saying there's something here about you writing all this down that could actually end up being lucrative for you. People might want to hear what you have to say. It's like well, it's like any relationship, right? I think, well, especially as females, I think we tend to be very attracted to, lifetime stories or stories about relationships or anything like that. So whatever this is, it's basically saying that you can profit in some kind of way, huh? With the Knight of Coins coming out, it makes me feel like you can. This could actually be something that you could profit if you turned it around. At least that's my take on it. Like all your spiritual work that you've done, write that down. All the material work that you've done, because it's not just one thing. You know what I mean? When you're going through this healing process, it's not just one thing. It's everything in your life. It's what you do for a career, right? It's coming out as a career. So even your career is affected, your material world is affected, your spiritual world is affected when you've been through something like you have been, you know? Hmm. I do feel very strongly you're going to find love in something, and it looks like it's going to be a career. Yeah. Okay, that's what I'm getting from it. It's going to be a career of some kind, okay? You might not get immediate success. You might not get immediate success, but it does look like you will get success. Be careful or be cautious with trying to avoid, how do I say this? To like be cautious with trying to avoid to attract attention to yourself, because it does look like that's what you're going to be doing. Like you're going to want the success, but you don't want the attention on yourself. And that is why it's going to take longer. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Like it looks like it's going to take longer because of you trying to avoid like problems. Maybe you're worried about that person, or this could be like your anxieties and stuff, because your anxieties might be coming in telling you, oh, if you write these things and you share these things and you come out publicly about it, you're gonna cause a ripple effect, right? Yeah. Hmm. Okay, so it seems like you're gonna have I want to say a challenge. Okay, I want to call it a challenge. I don't know any other way to say it, but you're gonna have I want to say a challenge on how to work through your point of view and explaining that to people. Yeah, because you know what? Not everybody is going to understand Gemini. Because you are coming in this reading as being such a leader, a go-getter, you know what I'm saying? Like that people are going to be like, "No, how can that happen to you? That's not right." Well, things happen to the best of everybody. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It could happen to anybody. If this person once you get into that kind of web, don't in other words, don't let these thoughts and don't let these even if people tell you that, don't let them make you feel a certain kind of way, because you know what, they weren't there, first of all, and you can only express so much with your words, right? You can only explain so much, but if that person who's saying, well, that don't make sense, or they try to like say, like, maybe even accuse you of lying or exaggerating or whatever it is, because people will say the craziest things, right? Just know that it's not because of you, it's because that person is, well, basically more likely either very close minded and they just don't have the ability to put themselves in somebody else's shoes, because there are people like that. They are just so, I don't know what the word is, but there are people in the world who just, they cannot put themselves in somebody else's shoes, no matter what. But when it happens to them, they fall apart. You know what I mean? And as much as you try to explain to these people, as much as you try to express what happened, you're going to have those people who are just going to be like wanting to point the finger at you. And then also, it's not just those kind of people, Gemini, but also remember other abusers, people who are like the person that you've been dealing with, are going to want to shut you up because they don't want to hear it. They don't want you to tell the truth. So remember that when you get people who are, I don't know, trolling you, bullying you for speaking up, you're going to have people like that and they're going to want to shut you down. You know what I mean? They're going to want to like tell you you're stupid, or they'll say all kinds of mean things. They want to shut you up, trust me. Ooh, if you could see the things I hear on here. The people, oh man, especially if you choose to do this in a, well, it doesn't matter really, because people are ugly no matter what, but they are specifically really, really ugly when they get to hide behind a screen. For some reason they feel more powerful or something. So I just want you to know that if you do that, if you allow these people, you're just going to procrastinate your growth, your career, because it does look like this could possibly turn into a career, some kind of career, which is interesting because there was another reading I did recently where you were going to receive money from out of the blue from something that you did creatively. Well, anything with writing, sorry, sorry about that. Anything to do with writing is considered creative. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. So this could very well be part of that reading, which is interesting, because you do see here we have the five of coins and the six of sticks. It's kind of like you go from the five of coins of being in debt and going through hardships and things like that to boom success. So I do feel very strongly, Gemini, that you have something here. Your advice is to write this down. Write down your process, everything that you've gone through. It's going to heal you, and people are going to want to hear it. Because we're just like that naturally, I think. We all want to hear each other's stories, especially females. I don't know if men are like this. If men are like this, let me know. I'm just curious. But anyways, Gemini, this is your advice. I hope I said something that was helpful. I hope I explained it correctly. I hope I hope I, conveyed the message as best I can. Don't shoot the messenger. I can only work with the tools I got. So anyways, guys, catch me in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Y'all take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.